Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Jared Anderson and ZHAN Kossobutskiy look like they will square off on the 1st of July in Ohio in Jared Anderson's first main event. So, gotta say, this is a very good fight. A true step up for Anderson, but also for Kossobutskiy. It's an opportunity for him to show his wares not only to the United States, but to boxing fans more broadly, because Jared Anderson's the one with all the hype, 14-0. He's the prospect that's been groomed for greatness. But ZHAN Kossobutskiy is a very dangerous and skilled southpaw who's been floating well under the radar in recent years. And if you've followed this channel for any length of time, you know I rate ZHAN Kossobutskiy, the potential that he has if given an opportunity. So it's a huge moment for him in his career. And let's face it, Anderson's the most talented fighter that he's faced as well. So it's a very tasty prospect with Anderson at 14-0, in need of step-up fights before he, gets to title level, and ZHAN Kossobutskiy, a dangerous southpaw, standing in his way. Let's face it, this is one of the best heavyweight fights that's on the docket right now. And overall, there's not many. There's only about 4 or 5 heavyweights that have got fights of any note scheduled. So this is one of the best fights to look forward to in the coming months. Because, say this weekend, for example, nothing. Literally nothing of note. So it's a little bit few and far between in terms of heavyweights of any note being in the ring, let alone any decent matchups. So if this happens, and it's being reported by Mike Coppinger, see here on screen, very, very good fight. Anderson's coming off a good win over George Arias, and prior to that, Jerry Forrest. Both those guys, Forrest maybe top 25, top 30, Arias a little below that. ZHAN Kossobutskiy would absolutely wax those guys. So having Anderson, who's got some flaws, but he's a very talented, skilled heavyweight who's got a whole bunch of athleticism as well and swag, against a guy who can maybe exploit some of those flaws, because Anderson can be hit. Sometimes he gets a bit too aggressive, leaves himself open, and he can be clipped. ZHAN Kossobutskiy has power in his hands. He can hurt guys, and half the time Kossobutskiy looks like he's just operating on cruise control. So I'm hoping this fight will bring out the best, not only in Anderson, but also Kossobutskiy, because this could be a very, very tough test. And, is it too much too soon for Anderson? Well, we're going to find out. I think based on the career arc, Anderson, for many, will go in the favorite. But ZHAN Kossobutskiy is more than just the dark horse. He is a live dog in this fight. So in terms of some of the commentary by Mike Coppinger, remember ESPN would be hosting this fight, with Top Rank in the association. So clearly inside knowledge here. But if this gets made, it's a fantastic fight for the heavyweight division. ZHAN Kossobutskiy is actually one of these guys, along with, Martin Bakole and a few others, just can't buy a fight, the sort of fights that they need and want for their career. But you've got Coppinger saying the Southpaw's best win came against a 5th-round TKO of former title challenger ZHAN Dorpa. Now Kossobutskiy will make his North American debut against his best opponent to date. I don't know if ZHAN Dorpa is the best win, and clearly Mike Coppinger hasn't seen it. I think it's just a case of ZHAN Dorpa is the best name in terms of recognition. But, he's got some wins. ZHAN Kossobutskiy, who is 19-0 at this point. His last time out against Hussein Muhammad, dominated. ZHAN Dorpa, dominated. Alexis Garcia, less said about that fight than the better, not a great opponent. Joey DeVaco absolutely brutalized DeVaco, stopped him in a couple of rounds. Not many people can say that. He stopped Kamil Sokolowski, literally was on cruise control and got the rounds in before stopping him in the final round. And Honorihime Ehrami, who had 1 or 2 upset wins in the last couple of years, battered him as well. So it is a case. Also, Argon Smakichi on the record there iced him in a round, and that's when he sort of started to become back in 2019 a little bit more on the radar. out of Kazakhstan, rated as number 29 in the world at the moment, 34, and people will be going, well, why hasn't he had opportunity sooner? Well, sometimes you're not with the right promoter, or you don't have the right connections, you turn pro a little bit later. You know, the cards can be stacked against you, especially if you're from an Eastern European country, don't speak English, and, you know, can't really sell a ticket. You know, sometimes that stuff, it just actually matters. But in terms of the in-ring performance, ZHAN Kossobutskiy has barely put a foot wrong. He's got 18 knockouts in his 19 fights so far, and we know Anderson, well, he's just a talent. Jared Anderson, early 20s, 14-0. Coming off some good sort of step-up wins. Hasn't been maybe as fast as some people wanted, but he's been making all the right noises and steps in the requisite step-ups, etc. Right fights at the right time. This feels actually to me like a cog maybe above where his next fight should have been in terms of the opponent and the danger with that opponent. But, you know, I'm going to take it all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. So I think this is a fantastic fight. You know, ZHAN Kossobutskiy, talented southpaw with power in both hands. And if Anderson's not careful, he could really get a scare here. So, you know, I mean, I think Anderson deserves to go in the favourite. But, certainly if Anderson beats ZHAN Kossobutskiy and handles him, it's a massive statement. I'm expecting this to be Anderson's toughest fight to date. It's going to be a lot harder than some people think. There'll be a number of people, I mean, I saw in a Facebook group that I'm part of, a boxing group, there's a commenter saying, oh, this will be another easy win for Anderson. So I was pleasantly surprised to see people jumping all over that comment going, you don't know what you're talking about. This guy is dangerous, and it's the best opponent by far, because it is. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.